Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Just making sure that I am live and that you guys can see me and hear me. Let me know if you are here joining me, whether you are with me live today or you are catching the replay. Either way, I hope that you guys will enjoy today's training and get a lot out of it. And then, of course, also, I want to invite you guys, if there's ever a video that you guys want me to make, or if there's ever a topic that you guys might be interested in hearing my perspective on how I might go about overcoming a challenge or facing something or dealing with an emotion or anything of that nature, I would love to hear y'all give me some feedback or some ideas of topics that might interest you guys as a group. Because when I do these weekly lives, I just kind of go based on maybe something that I'm overcoming currently, or something that might be a theme with my personal one-on-one clients that I'm working with, like some things that they're working through that I thought would be helpful for this group to kind of know how I am helping my clients overcome these things. So if there's ever any challenges or topics that you guys might want to hear me talk about, you guys are more than welcome. And actually, I encourage you to give me those topics or those emotions or those challenges that you might be facing, that you might want some additional perspective or tools to see if there's any other ways that maybe you're not currently trying to overcome them. I would love to incorporate those into my weekly lives as well. So if you guys have any topics or questions or challenges that maybe I haven't made a video on yet, or maybe I have made a video and I can refer it to you. Either way, if you've got a certain challenge that I haven't maybe talked about yet, or that you might be interested in hearing me talk on, I would love to hear that from you guys. So again, if you guys are catching me live or in the replay, just let me know, say hey below. I hope you guys really enjoyed the Reinvent Yourself Challenge last week. I had a blast with you guys. I really appreciated your feedback and your participation when we did the energy healing and the 3-day trainings. I really think it went well, and I'm really glad you guys got the most out of it. If any of you are new to the group or you're just checking out this video and you missed the Reinvent Yourself Challenge, comment the challenge below and I'll make sure that you see it. And even if it's no longer in this group, like if you're watching this video at a later date and the challenge isn't in the group, I do plan to move the challenge onto my website later. So it will always be available. At least that's kind of what I'm hoping. So it'll either be here in the group or on my website. So if you want to see the Reinvent Yourself Challenge, just comment below this video and I'll make sure that you see it some way or another. So today what I wanted to do is talk about stress. And stress is like, the reason why I wanted to talk about stress is because I think it is so important that we learn how to manage our stress better, because stress is the #1 killer. Killed my dad. And I believe that it is the thing that leads to the rest of the things that kill people, right? Like, so my dad died of a heart attack. The heart attack was induced because of chronic stress, right? So stress can be the cause of poor mental health. It can be the cause of poor gut health. It can be the cause of autoimmune disease, cancer, illness. It doesn't matter. Stress is usually at the root of all of these diseases and illnesses that are coming into our world today. It usually is coming from stress, and stress is created from mental and emotional things that aren't being dealt with, right? Like when we're not expressing ourselves properly, when we are not setting healthy boundaries, when we're not spending our time the way that we want to spend it, when things aren't going the way that we hope them to go, it causes that stress, it causes that uncomfortability, which later can manifest into mental and physical health issues or illnesses or things of this nature, right? So I thought that talking about stress would be a really a good way to talk about for this week's training. It just was something I was chatting with one of my clients with this week, and I was like, this one would be a really good one for my group to hear. So I wanted to do this. So if stress is something that is negatively affecting you or your life, or you notice that you have an overactive stress response, meaning it's easy for you to get stressed out, right? Like anything could potentially stress you out. You might have a really low meter when it comes to what you can kind of take in without it causing some sort of stress or anxiety for you, right? So this would be a really good training for you guys to sit through if that's kind of going on. Also, if you feel like stress is the enemy, right? If you feel like stress is working against you and it's trying to hurt you and attack you and it's ruining your life, right? Like stress is out to get you and the things that stress you out are out to get you. This training will hopefully be helpful if you are in that boat. So I want to ask you guys some questions in today's training. I want to keep it really simple. So the main thing is I want you guys to just allow yourself to open your mind. I want you guys to allow yourself to just think about these questions. Let them be thought-provoking questions, okay? So these are things that you might journal on. These are things that you might, figure out for yourself, because what I find is when I ask these questions for specific things that I need to ask them on, I have to kind of write out my answer and I have to really think. I can't just take someone else's answer. I can't just kind of bullshit my way through it. It has to be very genuine and it has to really come from my heart. So when I ask, like when I'm having a challenge or something that is making me upset or it's not satisfying me in my life, I really have to look at it and I have to genuinely want to build kind of a relationship with it. And I use these questions to do that. So for today, we're going to use the example of doing this process with stress. Okay. Again, like I said, I thought this would be very useful because I think stress is something that most of us can relate to having. I think I would say that you're not human if you don't experience stress. And today's training is not gonna take stress away from you forever. But what I am hoping is that today's training is actually going to help you be affected in a different way, maybe even a more positive or peaceful way when you do encounter stress. Not that you won't get uncomfortable or have a moment of stress, but be able to process it and work through it differently going forward, right? So the questions are intended to help you break the habit of letting stress get to you in a negative manner and start to kind of build the habit of being able to see stress in a more positive light. So on top of whatever stressful event, right? The car breaking down, the bills need to be paid, the relationship not working out, right? On top of the stress that we're not feeling like we're attacking ourselves, right? So we can't stop stressful things from happening, right? We can't stop life from changing and things ending and things going wrong. We can't stop that, right? That's not in our control. But what is in our control is how it affects us, right? So these questions are meant to kind of help you get a different outlook on stress in general, so that you can inevitably, on like when stress happens, right, at least be there for yourself and be able to process it differently. So that way you're not already going through something stressful on top of being critical to yourself or beating yourself up or feeling like you're attacking yourself, right? So at least we take that part out of it, so that way it's not overbearing and your whole mentality or physical body starts to shut down or disassociate because it's just too much stress, right? It's like the world's against you and now you're against you and your whole body's against you, and it just feels really crazy and overwhelming, right? So the first question I want you guys to consider or to think about, and I'm going to give you guys some examples of what I might say, but I really want to not give you guys too much because, like I said, I think that the way that this is going to help you the most is if you really ask yourself these questions and look into your heart and ask yourself these questions until a real, genuine, personal answer is revealed to you. This will help you create the relationship to stress that is going to be needed for you to actually handle stress in the most optimal way. Okay. So Why might stress be a good thing? Why might stress be a good thing? Okay. What are some reasons that stress might be good? Why might it be good to have stress in your life, right? Now, the example that I want to give you, just to give you guys an inkling of what you might be able to think about, when we go into a stress response, this literally means our body is turning on its survival response. So you can look at stress as the equivalent to survival, right? So, and I know when we think about stress and we think about it causing long-term issues like health issues, it doesn't seem like stress is trying to help us survive, right? But I want you to think more about like the stress and the survival response being like in the short term, right? When we get stressed, we have that fight, flight, or freeze response, and we do what we need to do in the moment to protect ourselves, right? Even if it's not beneficial, you have to see the positive intention behind it is to help you survive, right? No matter what way we cut it, there is a survival quality behind it. It's just trying to help you survive. And the more you get to know it, at least for me, what I have noticed and for my clients is when we get to know certain things and we start to embrace them instead of reject them or think that they're bad or shame them, what happens is we start to work with them as a team. So that way we can actually be more in control of how we respond when our survival kicks on, right? So it's not that our survival or stress is ever going to go away, right? We don't want it to go away. It helps us survive. So think for you, and you can use that one, but maybe add to it, right? Why do you think stress might be a good thing in your life, right? And that's an example. The next question you can think about is, or to help you go deeper into that, right? Why might stress be trying to help you instead of hurt you? What does stress do for you instead of to you, right? So I said this as an example. It might have a message for you. It might be trying to tell you something. What might stress be trying to tell you? Or the way stress affects you? What might stress in your life or the way stress affects you or how you feel about stress? What might stress want you to know, right? Again, connect to your heart and ask yourself, what might my stress response want me to know? And just give yourself some time. Don't rush through this process. Give yourself some time. Patiently ask yourself, paying attention to your heart, ask yourself these questions and allow the answer to come through. Okay. So, and it might not come through immediately. You might have to just keep asking the question. I don't know how the process will unfold for you, but if you go about this in a genuine way and you just give yourself the time and space to let it happen, I promise a shift, something will come to you if you just give yourself the chance to ask. Okay. So why might stress be trying to help you, or what might it be doing for you instead of to you, right? It might have a message for you. Look for that message. Ask yourself, what is this message that my stress wants me to know? What are the positive intentions behind stress? What might be the positive intentions behind stress? So I want to give you guys some examples. Going back to survival, what does it mean if this is trying to help us survive, right? It's trying to protect us. The positive intentions behind the survival of the stress response is protection. It is literally our protective defense mechanism that we have. So like, I know for me, when I just think about that, when I think about that I have something that naturally occurs in my body to try to protect me, I feel really loved by myself. And it makes me feel really genuinely grateful that I have these protective defense mechanisms that just naturally occur, right? I'm starting to feel the love from this protection, right? It keeps me cautious, right? When I get stressed out, I have to literally physically slow down sometimes. When I'm stressed out, I have to reevaluate my situation, my circumstance, or my relationships. I have to reevaluate something when it causes me stress. It keeps my eyes open. It keeps me cautious, and it keeps me in check. I'm thankful for that. I don't want that to go away, right? I want to have this part of me that keeps me safe, this part of me that keeps me in check and keeps me making sure that I'm making the best decision for myself that's going to keep me safe and that's going to make me go in the right direction, right? I want to make sure that I'm doing these things. These are wonderful things and wonderful abilities, right? Who would have thought that you could look at a stress response as an ability that you have to move yourself in the right direction or to keep you safe or to keep you protected, right? And it's such a lighter feeling when you start to see your stress response as your protector or your cautionary guide of life, right? This brings a lot of positivity and love and just a genuine gratitude for me behind the act of stress and the stress response to begin with. So if you guys are commenting right now, if you guys are here with me, I can't see them, nothing's showing up, but if you guys are commenting, I'll make sure that I get to them. If you guys are here, I hope this is all making sense and you guys are enjoying this and it's causing you to kind of have a little bit more of an open mind about stress and how it might be affecting you negatively and how you can start to change that relationship to stress and start to see it differently so that it can affect you in a more positive manner instead of a negative manner, right? So that leads me to my last question that I want you guys to reflect on about this is, how can you choose to handle stress moving forward, right? Now, after you journal on these other questions about the positive intentions, the good, how it's trying to help you instead of hurt you, once you kind of get that for you, what can that allow you to do about stress moving forward? How can you move forward and how can you allow yourself to be affected differently by stress moving forward? So for me, whenever I looked at stress this way and I really opened my heart to this idea that stress isn't out to get me, that stress isn't my enemy, what happened is I decided that I can now choose to be grateful for its presence. Doesn't mean it's going to be comfortable. It doesn't mean it's going to be fun, but I'm not going to stress myself out more because it's present, right? I am going to allow myself to be grateful that it's here. It's got something to tell me. It wants me to slow down and reevaluate what's going on and do something different. It's my protector. It's keeping me to survive. It wants to show me something. It wants to teach me something. And I want to acknowledge the message that it wants to send me going forward, right? I don't want to tell myself how much I suck or how stupid it is, that I am emotionally overwhelmed, right? I just want to be like, hey, I'm stressed. I'm feeling a bit emotional. This is uncomfortable, but I recognize I'm just in survival mode right now. I need to back up. There's a message here that my stress or that my emotions want to send me. And I want to, with love, accept, acknowledge, and embrace these things, these messages, so that I can move forward in the most optimal way to keep me safe. And just really recognize, I'm going to choose to move forward and recognize the love that the stress is trying to actually send me in the moment when it shows up, right? So I hope that this was helpful. I hope you guys really enjoyed today's training, and I hope that you guys were able to get something out of it, and that stress moving forward doesn't affect you in the same way it might have. With some practice, of course, it's not going to happen overnight, but if you practice this and you give yourself the space and some time to answer these questions that I have prompted here, I do believe that you could feel a genuine shift in how stress affects you going forward, so that maybe your levels of stress can be significantly reduced. And this is very important because if you're trying to lose weight, manifest financial security, achieve any type of goals, basically, if you're trying to make any type of changes or bring anything into your life, you will have to be able to control your emotions, control your stress response, and find ways to be grateful in every moment, even the bad ones. because it's those things that block us from creating the health, the abundance, the achievements that we really want to achieve to begin with, right? So this is a very important step. So I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to seeing your guys's feedback or comments, or if you have any questions, or to just let me know if this landed for you, if it resonated and you guys are excited to build a new relationship to stress going forward. And I'd love to hear if this was, if this kind of really helped you put things into perspective, and that if there were any shifts just from being here on the training with me, even before doing the journaling prompts. I'd love to hear that from you guys, and I'd love to hear if this was helpful. And with that being said, that's all I've got for you guys today. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your week, and I will see you guys next time.